Good evening, brothers and sisters, as I wait for others to join me on this live broadcast. My name is Albert Baldeo. I was the first elected district leader in this community, the Richmond Hill Ozone Park, South Ozone Park community, and I've been the first district leader, and I've always been fighting for your welfare, your rights, and for your right to live the American dream. Now, there is significant breaking news, and there has been much dissemination of the information by your elected officials or by anybody else. There is the vaccine available now at your college. Of course, these categories right now are for zip codes as far as we are concerned, like in Richmond Hill and Ozone Park and South Ozone Park. Only zip code 11417 has been left out. That is perhaps because we didn't have the representation to make that happen. However, as you know, Richmond Hill and South Ozone Park has been relegated to the epicenter of the virus and also ground zero. Therefore, 11417 or Ozone Park should also have been um, included. Perhaps the representatives there, Senator Dabo, and who else have there has jurisdiction over that assembly district. You have Rajkumar also. They should make sure that they lobby for and have it included because there's people are suffering and people are dying. However, for those in Richmond Hill and those in South Ozone Park, that is zip codes 11419, 11420. They are included. That is you, all of us here, folks that live in this district of Richmond and Ozone Park, sorry, South Ozone Park are included, and therefore should go online. Go online right now because that mega site at your college, similar to the one at Medgar Evans, will be open and will be disposing or given 3,000 vaccines minimum a day. That's 3,000 people. So that's what you're going to call a mega site. Mega site is very important because of the numbers, thousands that can be vaccinated in a day. Now, you should go to healthnewyork.gov. Healthnewyork.gov, go to the website. You're going to see COVID 19 all over the website. Click on that and make sure if you're over 65 or if you have any sort of heart disease or high blood pressure, any one of those things. Most likely, a lot of people would qualify because of the poor state of health in this district. And then you can also go there and make your appointment. It starts on Wednesday, it continues Thursday, Friday from 8 to 8. So that's a long time. That's the only opportunity we've had. Other than that, we've had people coming here and just talking, oh, just wear your mask. We need a vaccine. This is the actual McCoy. This is the real deal. This is you getting the vaccines that we have lobbied for so hard. This is us working with Congressman Meeks' office and the governor's office and making sure we get the vaccines. So we don't have to have people giving out a mask or two or come here for a photo op or come here for a dog and pony show. You had a bunch of people come with Lefferts and Liberty talking, oh, wear your vaccines. Talking to who? People were already wearing their masks and they were looking for vaccines. Then you had another set of people come and say, oh, you know what? You guys don't wear your mask. That's why you're getting sick. No, no, that's not what's been happening in Richmond and Ozone Park. People have been wearing their masks. The residents here are very careful. They have been working 3, 4 jobs every day, and it is because of the institutional racism or the institutional systemization of excluding us from getting what we so rightfully deserve, which we have earned the right by virtue of our paid tax dollars and by virtue of being American citizens, that we have been left out. So therefore, you have to make sure that you get your rights taken care of and that you get those vaccines because after a week or so they're gonna open it up. The governor's gonna open it up to a lot of other communities, and you know what happens then? Our numbers will go down. We will not be having the kind of attention or the kind of quota system that we deserve. Although we're the ground zero and we have the highest rate in around 17, 16, 17% when the rate is only 3%. So that's one thing we've got to do. Make sure we get our vaccines. Forget the naysayers. Forget those the dog and pony shows. You don't need that. Go straight to healthnewyork.gov. Health.newyork.gov. or call 833-697-4829. That's 833-697-4829. I'll give it to you one last time and probably the end of the program before I leave. 833-697-4829 is the time when you have to call to make sure that you can get your vaccines or you can make an appointment. You have to make an appointment. Don't just show up there and walk with your ID cards, walk with proof of commodities, as they call it, commodities or whatever it's called, but those with underlying high blood pressure, heart disease, what have you. Those things have to be shown also, or you have to sign an attestation form. Whatever it is, make the attempt, go there, because we have never had anybody come to give us any vaccines here. Richmond Hill and Ozone Park has been stagnated. We've had the occasional, morsel of food, somebody coming to give you a loaf of, giving the folks a loaf of bread or a tin of milk. We have that. Thanks. We don't want those handouts. What we want is the vaccines to save lives, just like everybody else, just like you have as an American right. So don't let's get it wrong. A lot of our people who represent us don't even know nothing about this community, and that's a problem. You've got to understand that this is a minority marginalized community. You've got to understand the history of this community, how it was built, what the needs are. And then you have to focus and go to bat for that. And you can't monopolize resources going to the people must go through one's office. No, that's not going to happen. So whosoever is doing that, be on notice that we will be looking at that and we'll be making sure that government is for the people. You're in the people's house. You're paid by our tax dollars and you must respond to my calls. I'll be start calling out elected officials when I call them and I don't answer my call. I've been there before. Many of them, some of them were probably still in diapers when I got into the world of empowerment and fights for this community. So do that, folks. Make sure you go and get your vaccines. Make sure you go there to your college. Call the 833-697-4829 or make sure you go to health.newyork.gov and make sure you make an appointment there so that you can get your vaccines and get it very quickly. Because on Wednesday, there'll be, like I said, 3,000 people minimum per day being inoculated, being vaccinated. Make sure you're also included in that because without that, you can easily get the virus and die. And we've had many prominent people, many great people, many deserving people in this community, many people who have built us from the hardships that were here in Liberty Avenue and in Ozone Park and Richmond Hill. Many stalwarts, many patriots, many of whom have fought and died for America. Many of whose kids have done so. Many of whom deserve a better life. And we pay tribute to them. We sympathize with what has gone on. We mourn, we grieve. A lot of people have died. We don't even know the full quota because it's not very public. There's not like a public place or a website you can go to and check on people. A lot of people are scared. It's like taboo saying that they have the coronavirus, which is wrong. If you are ill and you need help, then definitely it's not a stigma. It's not a taboo. I saw two real estate guys talking about how their clients died. They're going to sell the home, and you don't need that. Start to empower yourselves and start to uplift yourselves. Rid yourselves of that vicious mentality and look out for each other. This is not a time for that kind of behavior. What we need right now is for people looking out for each other, helping each other out, and making sure that they can survive and we can survive as a community and we can have social and economic justice as we go by and make sure that we can have and truly live the American dream. That's what it's all about. As they say in colloquialism, what you don't like for others, then what you don't like for yourself, sorry, then don't like for others. So remember that, the golden rule. Now, we also mourn today the death of one of our legendary stalwarts, Seeta Panday. And she was a icon in this community. She was a legend. She was like the Lata Mangeshkar, the Nightingale of India, who sang bhajans and religious songs and Indian songs. She was accomplished in her craft. She delighted audiences. She delighted many of us. She was like a refreshing breeze, very humble, simple woman, never asking for anything except for spiritual upliftment. The time has come when God needs her up there. He needs a spiritual singer of her quality, no doubt. And He sent for her. And we thank her and we ask for her blessings and for the grace and for her soul. Um, we are highly indebted to her for she has helped her community grow and she's helped to propagate and promote Hindu culture, Indian culture, the Hindu religion, and all the great things that define us as a community. Whether it was Diwali, Pagwa, or whatever religious occasion, Seeta Panday was the nightingale who lit up the room. She was the person who could sing the best bhajans and the best songs. And there's so many others, don't get me wrong, that are alive. Um, I can't mention all of them now, but I can only pay tribute to the one that has fallen. That is Sita Pandey, and we pray for her. We acknowledge her greatness, and we thank God we had the pleasure of knowing her as a singer and as a spiritualist in our community. The third issue is that there was a domestic violence event, which I'm sorry I didn't get to go to, in Butch outside Sibyl's by a very great community activist, Vijay Ramjatan. And I send my regards there. Of course, this is a stigma in our community. This is a problem. But I want to make this very clear. It's not only this community that suffers from domestic violence. It's not only the men in our community that promulgate or perpetuate violence against their wives, sisters, daughters, or whoever. This is something endemic and systemic in all other communities. And I don't want to wear a flag and go out flying, oh, hey, here we are. This is our greatest claim to fame. We've produced great cricketers. We've produced great people like Rohan Kanai. But yes, we top the world in domestic violence. That is not the case here. That is quite different. But the issue I want to bring up here and what I want to tell people is that you got to press these elected officials to divert some resources. You've got what is called a pork barrel. They get what is called discretionary funding, hundreds and thousands of dollars. Um, some more than some, but each of them get what you call pet projects or money or pork money because they feel it's like pork, fat. That fat money, paid for by our tax dollars, has to be given to causes like these to counsel people to end domestic violence, to help to alleviate the situation, to make it a place where not only battered women can go to and get help and assistance that can probably save their lives, especially at a time like this COVID virus when we understand there's an uptick in domestic violence because the situation has caused many people to become very frustrated, many people to become very angry with each other, and that we understand. But we've got to find cures where we can have these safe houses that battered women or threatened women can go to and find solace and safety and be protected from their wives, spouses, partners, whosoever would be threatening them or beating them up or attacking them. So we need money to be sent and to be spent. And if you're an elected official out there that serves this community of Richmond Hill and Ozone Park, you've got to put in for that. You've got to encourage the non-for-profit organizations, encourage them to form these 501c3 organizations, these tax exempt organizations that can access funding from our state dollars, from the taxes that we have paid and our foreparents have paid over the years. That is something, it's not a handout. This is something we deserve. This is something we have worked for. This is something we have earned the right to have in every community. Social justice communities, social justice organizations, civil rights empowerment, protection of people's rights, things like domestic violence and cruelty and racism attacks, and all these things need to be protected. They need to be established in a community. So we need funding for those things, and the only way we can get that funding, especially at the time when you have all these small businesses closing, they're trying to survive. You have a lot of people too trying to make do. Open up the gates. Make sure you can write on behalf of your community. as an elected official and get this funding here. We'll give giving you some of you a few months, and then we'll review what you have done in terms of what sort of monies and assistance you have given to domestic violence organizations, and to many other organizations and charities that deserve funding. For example, if there's a fire, or if there's a problem, instead of we go running around the place, um, targeting people and asking them for monies, and getting ourselves all mixed up because we don't know who we're getting the funding from. One last occasion, there was funding received for some laptops from somebody who, has been heavily criticized for being a slumlord. You don't want to get into that kind of problem where one side is calling him a slumlord, and then you're taking computers and laptops and giving up to our kids. There must be some other way of doing this, where we don't look that bad or that naive. We need to have like people who can really, um, and the best way to do this is to get the funding from the state government and form an emergency fund, an emergency and compassionate fund. Get money in there so that whenever there's a fire, don't wait until there's a fire and you have 12, 15 victims, as we've had two fires in this community so far, or that there is a sort of a natural disaster. And this goes for everybody. Make sure you have an emergency funding available in partnership with private and public partnerships, and also with government. However, you're going to keep those accounts separate. I guess you'll have to get some input. Discretionary, compassionate, and emergency funding that can help these folks, their kids, help them. The Red Cross always gives them temporary assistance, which is a big help because that's very costly. But at least we can get them clothes, food, laptops, and so forth, and be able to make them whole, or so that they can carry on with their lives. And that's a very important aspect for us to have some sort of funding, some sort of contingency, some sort of things, think ahead in this community. If we're going to help people, we have to keep thinking, we have to keep consulting with community leaders. And some of our folks just come into this community and put on a bow tie, or I mean, it's very hilarious. We're going to be calling you out, and bringing you in the open if you can show that you've been helping the community. We don't want somebody to come here and just masquerade as a model. We need people to help. And if you're not going to help, then you should not be in public office. We're not going to suffer and wait until COVID is over a year old, and then we're hearing for the first time that our congressman has gotten us, the vaccines funding. I think we need to do better than that. You're elected at the grace of the people. This is not something that you can lord over us. We need your help, and you need to access the powers of your office. That's the people's office, not yours personally. So, you've got to have priorities. You've got to have a vision. You got to be able to look at these things and say, well, if this happens again, I had a fire last month. If another fire comes, how do I handle it? Where do I run to? Do I run to this guy? Do I run to this corrupt broker? Do I run to this guy who, like, yeah, who do I go to? Would I go and ask somebody who's going to come back and ask me a favor? Or is do I run to people who love to have these politicians in their pockets? Or do we go to a neutral funding that does not want anything, that does not require us, or require me as an elected official to ask favors that I will have to repay in some form, compromising my integrity somewhere down the line. So it's simple. Set up contingencies independent of people and of influence and duress, and make sure you have these in place. You have time to work on it. Put them in place. You got to have people who understand what happens in these communities. And it's basic stuff. It's not that they want to go to an Ivy League school, or that too. But most times it's just the working class blue collar workers, the domestic workers, the janitors, the security guards, the vendors, the people who work, and the babysitters, two and three jobs just to make ends meet. These are the people we should be catering for. We should be catering for everybody. But at the same time, these are the folks who need the help the most and who do not have a contingency plan. And these are the folks who we've got to be able to channel our help, our resources, and our mercy towards. So we don't want to have to go and beg all over the place with a hat in our hand and taking money from compromised sources. We need to be independent and take stuff and so forth. You have some individuals in this community. As soon as somebody's elected, they want to be their friend. They have a long list. They want to become their friend. Oh, yeah, this person is great. They'll bring them into their community. They don't even know A to Z from our community. And then they'll hang around and say, oh, we've done the great thing. We're going to be calling these people out as we go along because you need to understand what it is to build a community and how you can access the real positive and genuine people in our community, how you can all work together and not be kept hostage by those who have their own agenda or those who would want to see things dictated by their whims and fancies, most of which are very poor, poorly enlightened people, or as you call them, sham people who look around only to say, well, oh, I'm with this organization or I'm with that. You got to look at for the common man, and we need help from the bottom up. We need help for those who are sick. We need help for whose small businesses have closing. We need help for those who need unemployment insurance, who've been working for years in companies and various organizations and various corporations. And unluckily, due to the COVID, they have become sick and they have been laid off or they have been fired. These people need to be given compensation because if they can be given an unemployment compensation, which is a right, it is not a handout. It is not something that you given to them for free. They have earned unemployment insurance compensation because they paid for it with every check that they did. And you've got to be able to set up an office to make sure that these people can, our folks, our family, our brothers and sisters, and people who live here, are able to get those resources. It would mean the difference between life and death. They need unemployment, they need vaccination, which thankfully we're getting now at your college. They would also need help in the future. You need a lot of small businesses to get loans, and where they can get loans, they must also get something to money to help them to get back on their feet, interest-free loans, grants. We have already been helping tenants. Some tenants have been very abusive of the situation, meaning that they don't want to pay the landlords, although they can afford it. Some people have not taken what the government meant in good faith. Some are making sure that they can then go rent-free for a whole year and then hide under the law or hide behind the law and say, well, you can't evict me because the government issued a moratorium. Well, that's not the spirit and intent and purpose of the law. You are being abusive of the law and you are exploiting it. And you should be ashamed of yourselves because if you're a tenant and you have the money to pay and the landlord is losing his home because he can't pay his mortgage, you've got to be able to sympathize and understand that he's depending on that money to pay his rent or his mortgage, sorry, and therefore you must pay it. If you can't pay it, well, that's another story. But if you're deliberately exploiting that situation because the law allows you to do so, and there's no bona fide reason for you to do so, then that is vicious. That is wrong. Also, I've got a lot of calls from a lot of landlords and people who've lived the American dream and people who've uplifted themselves. And that's right. Nothing is wrong with that. People have the right to expand. People have the right to build their bottom line. That's what America's about. Live the dream. People don't come here to be pauperized and become poor. Everybody wants to get up in life. And hence, if a man has some people, when it's COVID come, they have like 15-year mortgages or 30-year mortgages. And the problem is that there's a year or two left, and then the tenant is not paying the rent, then the house goes into foreclosure. And although the moratorium protects such an event, I'm advised, it still puts the landlord in jeopardy because when that moratorium is lifted, he would lose his home by foreclosure, and he will be having like a whole year's mortgage payments backed up on him due to the fact that he was exploited by tenants. So that is not the law. That is not the intent and purpose of helping people. That is not what we need here. What we need is something whereby everybody gets help. Everybody deserving of help should get help. The unemployed, those who've been fired, those who own a home, those who are tenants. This is where government has got to come in situations like these and help out. And this is where people have got to work with government in making sure that they don't exploit the situation and beat it to death. And the time is coming when perhaps we should be able to get our handle, God willing, on this virus and this pandemic and be able to live a better life and live as Americans once again. And I hope and pray that that day is coming soon. But in the meantime, we've got to be able to buckle up, battle down, and make sure we bat. And those of us who play cricket know what that means. In cricket, whenever there's crisis, you've got the great players who come and bat for you. The Alvin Kallicharrans, the Rohan Kanhais, the Donald Bradmans, the Sunil Gavaskars, the people who can stand up and bat. And that's what we need right now. In baseball, boxing, all over defense. We're playing defense right now. And we got to play it well because if you don't, then we can lose and lose very horribly and lose very hard. And losing is not a good thing because then that can really put us back, and the entire psyche will be destroyed and will be challenged. So we need to join hands together, care for each other, help each other out, move forward. And that's I'm going to wrap up tonight's talk because it's very important we understand the number one priority here is the COVID vaccine, to get vaccinated. There is a mega site, York College. There's one at Medgar Evans also. They have, for the first week, starting from Wednesday, priority areas, priority zip codes. Richmond Hill and South Ozone Park, 11419, 11420, 11416, I believe. They're all included there. You are predestined. There's a privilege given to those folks in Southeast Queens because we were the highest in the COVID rate. We had the highest number of fatalities and people affected by the COVID pandemic. So justly, and I compliment the governor for this, he made those priorities for 1 week. He said, okay, I'm going to give you a week for your people in these zip codes strictly according to address, which means you got to walk with your driver's license and perhaps take any bills that you have to show where you live in that zip code. When you have done that after the first week, it will open up. So you keep an eye on the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, healthnewyork.gov, health.newyork.gov, or call this number 833 697 4829. 833-697-4829. Make sure you call those numbers and ask, am I eligible for the vaccine? And I wanted to show you at the New York Health site where they have your college at the Health and Physical Education Complex in Queens. Appointments are available, and at Medgar Evans, that is available right now as we speak. And I'm going to put it for you to see that I know what I'm talking about. See, at those bottom two, those were two that were recently added to the list. Your college and Medgar Evans, and it says appointments available. That's what it states there. So you can go on the New York City website, the health website, and you can see that those places are open. New York State Health. You have all those places where they don't have any appointments available, including Resorts World. No appointments available at Resorts World, but you have available at Medgar Evans if you live in Brooklyn, and also your college. See that? Jamaica, New York. Appointments are available at your college. You see it right there. So I wanted to say that I'm not talking from my hat. I'm talking because I believe and I know that that opportunity has arisen. We have waited over a year for it, and that is why you should make use of it because it will then open up to other folks, and we don't want you to not to take advantage of this opportunity. We want you to be healthy so our community can live and breathe again. Because this is not a community that gets the best out of government. This is not the place where we get federal, state, and city dollars for the taxes we pay. So whatever we get, we have to make use of because it's not a community that takes priority anywhere. It is a place that is marginalized. It is a place that is often forgotten, and it's a place that's also stigmatized. And hardly folks would think of helping us. So we've got to make sure that we keep a voice up and help ourselves, and also make sure that we can keep, one of the disappointing things, and I must say this, is that when this virus started, there was no elected official or any representative of the government who came into our community. And I was looking at this like an orphan child or like a stepchild, and I was lamenting the fact that we were so ignored and we were so like cast aside. There was not a single mask given to this community. There was not any kind of resources. There were a lot of folks, good-natured folks in our community, the restaurants and so on, um, and the Lions Club and so forth, who delivered a lot of food to people. But as I've always said, it's good to have those services, but we didn't get the services we needed. That is, we didn't get the virus and the pandemic resources. Many other communities got. Let's be clear about that. But what made me lose my faith in those who are elected to represent us is that none of them came and gave a mask to the poor people, to the people who are suffering, nor it gave them any sanitizers, nor gave them any kind of relief. And worse yet, these are easy things, cost a couple dollars to give. You get a big, nice photo up in the Queen's Chronicle and stuff like that. You feel like you've really served humanity, but in effect, you've only served yourself. But there was no tangible or cogent effort made to put pressure on the government or on the elected or on the federal and state government to channel resources our way. It was only until we became the epicenter of the world, we had the most deaths, we had the most crises, we had the most tragedy, we had the most pain, we had the most suffering, that some people came, had a big standing there, Lefferts and Liberty, shouted out to the world, oh, wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask, and blah, blah, blah. But people are already wearing the mask, so they lack the understanding that this is a community of Richmond Hill and Ozone Park and South Ozone Park that has been underserved. And it was on not until we had lobbied and when you're in politics, you can't be the Mr. Nice Guy or be Miss Queen that you feel, well, oh, these people are gonna love me. No, it's not about that. If you want to do that, then go into modeling. Go somewhere else into movies or something else. But don't go and represent people. If you expect when you're going to represent them, you're gonna be looking for friends. It's good to get along, but don't sell out your community. Don't let other places get more than you get. You learn the process of bartering and making sure you can get things done your way and your community's way, and that will help in terms of the effectiveness you can bring to the table, in terms of the um, ability of you to represent your community. Mr. Nice Guy always gets nothing in the end. And I've been through that. I've seen that happen. So I'm speaking from experience. And somebody's got to play the role of being the person who's going to go up against them and tell them, listen, we need this. You have forsaken us. You come here, but you come with your hands open. You come here to give us a handout. You come here to tell us wear a mask when we have been wearing masks. But what we need is a vaccine. So you need to bring the vaccine or show us the road. And it so happened that they were all caught off guard, those who represent us in this community, when the governor and Congressman Meeks and the Southeast Queens leadership was able to get the community here. And many people owe us. We have had Senator Dabo. He owed us a seat because I was the one who should have been a state senator there. We gave him he was given that seat because the party favored him. Never saw him back, not even a mask. It's a big shame. Shame on you, Senator. You need to understand and give more to the people who elected you and made you a state senator. And that is Richmond Hill and Ozone Park. And we were there in 2008 and 9. Check the public records if you need a refresher. Then you had Mike Miller. Mike Miller is now gone. He was there, and I think he might have tried his best, but I think he could have done better. But I guess that that was not something he might have been physically and otherwise capable of, or ideologically. So that's where we are with that. So we're not gonna just sit back in this community and allow people to come and railroad us. Um, this community has shed its blood, sweat, and tears, and has survived, thrived, and nourished itself without the help from anyone. So let's understand this. When you're coming to us, you got to come good. We're thankful for the COVID vaccines. We're looking out for social services. We're looking for the taxes we have paid to go to our communities and to our community organizations, our mandirs, our churches, our masjids, all over. And we want to make sure that all our people of diverse communities are respected. That is, there's attention given when there's hate crimes. That there's enough police resources, that the police don't treat us as second class citizens, that they treat us with dignity and respect, that we look to inculcate that partnership that is necessary in diverse communities and law enforcement for it to work. And we'll be asking for these things as we go on. We're looking for our schools not to be closed and not to hear talk as we did when we had to push back on Richmond Hill and John Adams, which at best had some trailer parks for schools, and which, like Principal Ganesh and all these great folks, have resurrected them. So we need help and we need a positive energy coming into this community. So when you think of Richmond and Ozone Park and South Ozone Park, start thinking positively. Don't think about what you can take from them, what you can deprive them of. Think of what you can give them. And I'll close with these words. Ask what John F. Kennedy told us. Ask not what Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, and South Ozone Park can do for you. Ask what you can do for South Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, and Ozone Park. Let's close with that. Brothers and sisters, elected officials, government officials, ask not what Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, or South Ozone Park can do for you. Ask what you can do for Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park, and Ozone Park. And to the great Seeta Panday, who we lost, a very great spiritual singer, um, we pay tribute to you. We thank you for your life. We thank you for the inspiration. May you go with God's grace, God's speed, and let's look forward now to have like domestic violence help funded by government, whereby our men folk who are guilty of that, as happens in all other communities, can also get the help that they need, so that their wives or women folk will be respected equally as we all should be. Thank you very much, and I'll be coming to you live again. I'm going to see how this works out, this COVID virus. I'm going to see how other things are done, and I'm going to give you a report. And I would not be afraid to call names when I find them wanted. So let's keep thinking. You can email me, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. May God bless you and may God be with you. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Wear two masks if possible. Wear two masks. I'm there not wearing one right now because I'm in a study. I'm in my home. I'm in my study. So it's not like I have anyone here. But I'll be wearing two masks anytime I go off, even after the vaccine, make sure, because Dr. Fauci said that we maybe have to wear masks till next year. We may have to wear masks until till 2022. So that's how it goes. You want to live, you want to fight, you want to be there. That's the price we've got to pay. It's not a very heavy price. Let's pay it. Once we pay that price, let's make sure lives do not denigrate or be taken away from us in a way that we even lack the dignity for our own self. Thank you very much. God bless you. Salam. Walaikum. Inshallah. Pranam. And may God bless you all. Good Goodbye. Thank you, and may God bless you. Bye bye.